Welcome to verifiedinvesting.com. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing. In this video, I'm going to cover 5 currencies. The first one I'm going to start with is the DXY. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the charts of the DXY. So here's what I'm noticing. We had faced a lot of resistance on the DXY sitting at 100.228. Now, as you can see, we had this nice fall. And what I like is that we're actually consolidating right under this area. This is putting in a bear flag. What I see in the charts is the DXY heading down to about 96.90 on the charts. So where I get this 96.90 is this upswing trend line. Let's go ahead and zoom out to the macro view where this upswing trend line came from. I got to zoom way out. I've got this pivot low here. Here's a secondary hit. This was more like a kiss, but look at all of this price action consolidating right here. This gives me further confidence that this is going to be the support level on the DXY. Not only that at 96.90 is this upswing trend line, but look at all of this price consolidation. If you zoom out a little bit more, go to the highs of November 2021, and all of this, see how much resistance the DXY had getting above there. So when it comes back into that level again, as you notice, it had some support. So this is my shorter term view on what's going to happen with the DXY with this upswing trend line. If we get a break, these other currencies that I'm going to show you should skyrocket to the upside with the DXY breaking below 96 and could head as low as 93.357. Zooming out in the charts again, as you can see, these low pivots right here where price got saved on the DXY. All of this price consolidation is going to be support once we get a break of this upswing trend line. So short-term view, 96.90. Longer-term view, if we break this upswing trend line, is 93.357. Now let's go ahead and go into the British pound. So what we're doing here is we had this up move after this break of this downsloping trend line. Big move to the upside. And now we're putting in sideways to slightly negative consolidation. On the DXY, you saw a bear flag. On the GPB, the British pound, we're putting in bullish consolidation. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sideways candles. In a couple of days, the British pound should actually shoot up to this resistance level at about $1.37. If it starts breaking back out, breaking that level, consolidates sideways, kind of similar to this chart pattern, right at that 137, then you're going up to 138.67. So if you notice that this correlates about where the DXY would bottom out, and that's just how the charts work, right? When the DXY drops, the British pound will continue higher. Let's go ahead and jump into the euro. Euro, similar price action, had this downsloping trend line, broke out, retraced, and now we're getting this move to the upside. Did put in what looks like a topping tail, but this is more sideways consolidation, putting in this nice bull flag for another push to the upside. $1.19 is where that next level of resistance is. Look at this pivot top. Price consolidated right in this area before this move to the downside. This is what put price action or pressure on this trend line before this breakout. So once price gets back up to $1.19 on the euro, this is where the resistance level is going to come into play. If we can break above this, put in some sideways consolidation here, then you're going to $1.20 on the euro. Let's go ahead and go into Australian dollar. So everything is going to be based on what's happening with the DXY. As long as the DXY can continue the downward pressure, then all of these other currencies are going to get nice bids to the upside. So here's the Australian dollar. Got this pivot top here. Price broke above it, got a rejection, then got right back to that level. And now we're trying to consolidate right on this resistance level at 71579. Once we get a bid above that, then we should see a nice push to the upside on the AUD. This is the resistance level I was mentioning. Once we do, then 74.138 is a high pivot in the charts, as well as look at all of this price consolidation. And so for me, more of a short term, if we can break above 71579, that is going to be your next upside target, 74138. Now, if the DXY continues that fall and break of that upswing trend line, the Australian dollar, the AUD, could actually head up to 75589. And then ultimately, I think it would top out. I don't see it necessarily going above this level unless you can see a really big sell-off in the DXY. And then you could possibly make your way all the way up to 80 cents on the US AUD versus the US dollar. That is a long ways away, and that needs to be a pretty big sell-off in the DXY. Let's go into the last one, which is the JPY. This is interesting. So both the US dollar and the Japanese yen is under pressure. So here's this downsloping trend line. Price action here, pivot here, pivot here. And then you get this last pivot before this nice sell-off. What I do notice, though, is you're starting to consolidate right at the lower end of this support level. Oftentimes what that does is it indicates that the buyers are kind of stepping up in this in the Japanese yen and could push it up to this downsloping trend line. So for me, the max upside, at least in the short term, is this downsloping trend line, which would be right here at 6406. And that would be a hit, another hit of this downsloping trend line based on the amount of time. So this is first hit, second hit, third, fourth, fifth hit. This would be the sixth hit. So on a technical basis, the more time price action hits either support or resistance, the weaker that support and or resistance gets. So this is breaking to the downside, or this is a downsloping trend line that's hit that resistance level several different times. And so if it does hit again, it actually favors a breakout. This would also correlate with the DXY continuing that fall. In order for a breakout to happen, though, the Japanese yen would have to break that downsloping trend line, and the US dollar or the DXY would have to break that upsloping trend line, and then those will go inverse of each other, and that's how you could get this nice bid up in the Japanese yen. Let's go ahead and jump back into it. Once we can clear this level, and this is going to be a lot of resistance on the Japanese yen, you could head up as high as this low pivot right here in the charts, sitting at 6527. And so this is the last, basically, where I can see price action getting up to at least more of the longer term after we break this downsloping trend line. Now, if we do get a bid on the DXY, the Japanese yen has additional support at 6177. If you zoom out in the charts, this goes back to the lows of July 2024. And this is where we should get a solid bounce off of basically the floor on the JPY to send this to the upside. We still have to be monitoring this downsloping trend line in order for us to confirm a price action above it before we can break the current downtrend that the JPY is in. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon or this evening when this video goes live. If you guys are getting something out of this, please make sure you're liking, you're following, subscribing, and sharing with those friends so that way they can get the same market information you're getting. And Verified Investing Extras is a new channel that we have on our system. So go ahead and scan that QR code and then subscribe to that so that way you guys can get some additional market information that we're just starting to post it for you guys. And it's all free on our YouTube channel, or if you go to verifiedinvesting.com, it's going to be on our homepage as well. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys next time in the charts. You guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.